First of all, thanks a lot for your registration. My name is Ralph from M2M Germany, CEO. I will start by introduction from the company, and then I will hand over to Rafik from IDC777. Yes, the topic today is the Bluetooth LE Audio. So M2M is almost 18 years old now, and most of our employees has a technical background in the area of radio technology. We are located close to Frankfurt, and focus with our portfolio is on IoT products. So everything has to do with data transmission or voice transmission over radio. To educate ourselves, we also do research projects together with university to develop products or to get experience with new technologies. On the picture, you can see, yes, my CEO colleague, Marius, and me together, yes. Yes, he's already the son of the owner, and so we have the future for M2M is already on the road. Yeah, this picture shows the industrial wireless data transmission. So on the left side, you see the possible devices which will send data via radio technology, and on the right side, most likely a kind of database. Of course, the destination could be also a device like a laptop, tablet, or smartphone. So no matter what kind of application or data source you have, we will help you to integrate the right technology. Our competence is in the middle of this picture, and it's named by the technologies. And yes, as I said, we will help you with the integration. Concerning this integration, we offer different kind of support, whatever the customer needs. And we always work very close with our partners like IDC777. So typically from us, the support could be the hardware design review and help by the firmware development. But we offer more, as you see on this slide, and you can decide what support you want to have. Sometimes customers do the hardware design by themselves in-house, and we help just with the firmware development or the configuration. We also support you by the certification process and can also explain in advance what needs to be done. Next to the embedded, we also offer the network solution and the distribution. So workshops are quite helpful because sometimes customers are not sure which technology fits to their application. And quite often we start by a proof of concept to check very quickly if the technology fits to the application, for example, in terms of the data volume, latency, or cost for the usage of the technology. In combination with IDC777 modules, we can also can help with the distribution part. That means in terms of frame contracts to have good availability and short delivery times. We also take care on the firmware version to keep the defined version till customers give his validation to switch. Yeah, because the firmware may change from time to time from the manufacturer side, but we never change without a verification from our customer. So now we come to the Bluetooth history. 1998, Bluetooth was founded by 5 companies, and now more than 35,000 companies already registered. 2004, the first common version started, or which is known as Bluetooth Classic. Most likely it was in the past for audio transmission in the car, for example, or to headsets. Mouse keyboard application was quite common. and also kind of cable replacement for industrial application. This was a point-to-point connection. 2009, Bluetooth Low Energy appears, and it was driven by the smartphone apps for connection-less application, for example, like an indoor navigation or Find Me apps for key fobs, something like that. And remote control of other devices, for example, setup of machines and devices without screen or without a keyboard. So the customer has in his hand the keyboard and the screen. So there was a interesting communication for configuration. Yeah, with this technology, broadcast and meshed communication was the new way. And 2019, Bluetooth LE Audio with Auracast appears, and that's the topic of today's webinar, and I will hand over to Rafik.
Thank you, Ralph, for the nice introduction. We will dive into now the Bluetooth audio, as Ralph was mentioning in his presentation. So we will talk about LE audio and the module we have that is LE audio enabled. This will be a short presentation, but as Ralph said, you will have access to the webinar later on. The PDF of the presentation will be shared. And please do not hesitate, if you do have questions, to use the Q&A session, the F&A session, so I can answer while I am presenting. I will check, so don't wait to the end. You can ask questions while I'm presenting, so I can answer quickly. So first of all, I will talk about the company history very briefly. Then we will address the two main topics of today, explaining what is LE audio, why is it here, and also see how it is available in the market, and how likely it is to be a big standard like classic Bluetooth. And we talk briefly about the IDC777 module after that. So quickly, IoT747, we're a module supplier. Our modules are based on the Qualcomm chips, and we're based in Cambridge, which is an hour away from London, so in England. Our history is we started in 2009. We used to work for a company called Cambridge Silicon Radio. And then we started from there, and then started our modules based on Cambridge Silicon Radio. Cambridge Silicon Radio used to produce most of the Bluetooth chips back in 2009, and they got acquired by Qualcomm. We got acquired by another company called Sierra Wireless. Our name was Blue Creation at the time. Then Sierra Wireless got acquired, and we started again under IoT747. So we've been doing Qualcomm-based Bluetooth audio modules since 2009, and it's the same experienced team that actually works on these new modules, like the IDC77, which I'll talk about later. We are an official Qualcomm partner, and these are some of the markets we operate in. We are in intercom products, we are in audio products, we are in industrial products, we are in audiovisual products, telecom system products, avionics, and infrastructure. So our modules go wherever there's a need for audio Bluetooth specifically. So let's start with the topic of today. What is LE audio? So I'll start with the codec. So what happened is, if you look at the audio side with Bluetooth, there are a few limitations today. For example, most of the time you connect one device to another. So if you want to share audio to a lot of devices, you cannot do it with classic audio. And the second limitation of classic audio is, if you do a call, you're 8 or 16 kilobit per second, very specific audio codec, and only 2 mono audio. If you're streaming music, you can stream only one stereo music to one device. And The vision of the next generation of Bluetooth is that audio should be more easily available in different formats, different qualities, and a lot more audio will be available. So what they did is they started by a new codec called the LC3 codec. So what that codec has that the old codecs don't have is it takes a lot less bandwidth. So for example, here in this slide, we can see the comparison of LC3 with the standard SBC codec. So SBC is, for example, for music. So when you're looking at 345 kilobits per second, the quality of SBC and LC3 is similar. LC3 is a little bit better. But if you want to the same quality and just 160 kilobits per second, so you're not using all the frequency of Bluetooth, all the capabilities, SBC doesn't do it, but LC3 does it and keeps a very high quality above 4 at a lower bandwidth. So what that means is it allows you to transfer the same quality of audio with lower power because your radio's on a lower time because you don't have to transmit that much data. And if you want to have multiple streams in a room, you can have multiple streams using the set Bluetooth frequency, the maximum capacity of the Bluetooth frequency. And on top of that, it has low latency. So this allowed to define multiple audio quality and multiple audio streams at the same time. I will probably not have enough time to get into all the details of all the different new specs that came with LE Audio, but I will talk about one aspect of LE Audio that's probably the most popular now, which is Auracast. So what is Auracast? Auracast is the ability to broadcast audio to an unlimited number of receivers. The way it works is if for example, I take today a Samsung S23 and I go under the Bluetooth settings and I go share audio and I play music from, for example, Spotify or my music player, anybody that's within range, so for example, 20 meters, 30 meters, depending on your device, can, like a radio, connect to that audio stream and listen to it. So the best way to think about it is it's like digital radio. And the way it works is, for example, if you have your headsets and your phone, you can go and similar to Wi-Fi, you look how many people are broadcasting audio around you. You will select one, and then your headsets will go and connect to that radio Auracast stream and listen to it. The big advantages here is one, unlimited number of people can listen to it. So there's not only one that can listen, not two, not three. There's no limits because it's only broadcasting like a radio. And the other advantage is you don't have to pair. So when you want to listen to audio in different places, you have to go pair, put your headset in pairing mode, find it, connect it. You don't have this anymore. You select your audio stream and you listen to it. And we'll talk more about this in the use cases I'll show later. And like Wi-Fi, you can scan a barcode or NFC, and then it automatically connect to that audio device. And this is what Auracast is. This is the new thing of one of the new aspects of LE Audio is that ability to broadcast to unlimited number of users. So the key benefits, and these are some of them. Music sharing, of course, we'll talk about it. Public announcements in airports. This is very important for hearing aids, and I'll talk about this later. The hearing aids industry has been pushing for this for a long time. Spatial audio. As I said, you can have multiple audio. So instead of having just two stereo coming into your earbud, you can have a 3D. You can have multiple audio coming in. Better quality, lower latency, and of course, a better lifetime. So audio everywhere and much easier to access. This is the very high level explanation. Now, let's look at very practical new use cases. The first one that's very clear is for audio manufacturers, whether it's speakers, amplifiers, and these are integrating audio as we speak in the new devices. Before, you used to take a phone and then you connect it to your Bluetooth speaker, and that was it. Now, the standard, not proprietary, but the standard allows you to go on your phone, share your music, and then connect as many speakers as you want, and they will all play the music synchronous. So you can think of pro audio when they're doing like big parties, small party consumer speakers, setup of events with silent disco, so you can have as many headsets as you want listening to the same music, and that's all by standard. You just buy the headsets, you use your normal phone, and it works. So for the audio market, this is a no-brainer, and everybody's kind of going and integrating it because it allows you to set things up very easily. No pairing, no Wi-Fi connection. It's even better than Sonos because you don't have any setup to do. A second use case is public infrastructure. So in public places today, for hearing aids, you need to have an induction loop. And it's legal in some of the public auditoriums to have a legal induction loop, so people with hearing aids can actually be able to listen. This is very expensive because you have to put the magnetic loop, you have to maintain it. It takes a lot of power. While now with the Bluetooth Low Energy Auracast, the speaker will speak into a BLE Auracast transmitter, similar to what the phone was doing. And anybody with the new hearing aids, and a lot of the new hearing aids have it, can connect and listen to the speaker. And since the latency is low, then there's no problems for the people doing this. So this whole industry of hearing aids, infrastructure for hearing aids, boxes to stream, all that is being enabled and interested in the LE audio side of things. Of course, when we're talking about infrastructure, which means that whether you're talking about trains, train stations, in trains, airports, bars with multiple TVs, what happens is people can connect, and then there'll be, for example, here the example is an airport where you have a box that's streaming the announcements in different languages, and each person with their headset can connect to the language they want and get announcements to their flights, emergency, where the shops are, and on all these types of very good use cases. So this is another example of how LE audio can be used. Another one here is in gyms, for example. When you're in a gym, you might have, for example, 3 or 4 TVs, one streaming Formula 1, one streaming tennis, one streaming the news. You put your headset on, and then you can very quickly select which one you want to listen to without bothering the other people who are running. But also at the same time, the module can be integrated in the actual treadmill, because the treadmill itself has an app with a lot of, for example, coaching advice, audio, music, TV. And before, people used to have to come to the treadmill, put it in pairing mode, pair to the headset, then they have to go to the next treadmill, do the same thing. Now they don't have to do this anymore. They put their headset, they connect to treadmill 156, or whatever it is, and then they can listen to all of that, which makes the user experience a lot easier. There's a lot of also industrial applications, whether you're installing devices and you want a lot of people to listen to it, whether you want to broadcast some audio so anybody can come and listen to it. These are just the first application and concrete examples we're trying to show. Obviously, there's a lot more, but we will just do maybe here a general example of use cases. So you can connect from your headset, and you can connect to the music in a museum to listen to something specifically, in public places, airports, trains, to listen to announcements, specific TV channels, sharing music. So this is the idea behind LE audio, that LE audio actually enables, and Classic does not have. Other use cases in hospitals, we also have applications in hospitals where nurses want to give announcements to patients' rooms. in communication inside hospitals, because you can actually Auracast now. Suddenly you can Auracast messages to doctors, nurses, take recordings, and then leave them in the room of the patient. So it enables quite a lot of things like that. Industrial applications, if you want to measure noise, to be able to see if equipment needs to be maintained, repaired, you can. And these are places where you put the module for a very long time, and you want to be future proof. And if you want somebody to simply be able to walk and connect to any audio that's being broadcasted by the equipment, then Auracast is a good solution. In intercom, in the intercom world, we know that some of these intercom devices also have a very long lifetime. And we know, we'll talk about how LE Audio will progress, but they want to be able to connect to new devices when they come in 2, 3, 4 years. And an LE Audio and Auracast improves the audio quality. And that might be something that you want to make sure that your product has, so you can connect and get the best audio quality in 2, 3 years when people are using LE Audio. And I probably won't go specifically for every device, but you have the same thing in industrial headsets, in avionics, in audio conference systems, of course, audio installations, whether it's commentary box, kind of rollout in events where people have to communicate between each other, pro audio. There's a lot of use cases in the markets that actually will be interested in LE Audio. As they said, LE Audio and Auracast is a must-have for new products. It's the biggest upgrade that the Bluetooth SIG has done in years. They've decided that anything new coming from the working groups is going to be LE Audio, not classic anymore. So all the new specs, everything new. So the Bluetooth SIG is really forcing everybody to move because they think this is the future. And the advantages, as I said, is like no pairing, no connection, it's like radio, low latency, easy audio. Sorry. So now, okay, now the questions that most people will ask after this is to say, okay, we've been hearing about LE Audio for a long time. It came in 2019. Why now? Why, you know, it doesn't seem, we don't see a lot of products out there with LE Audio. So what's the situation? Our view on the situation of the LE Audio is when the SIG announced it, and they made a big announcement in 2020, they presented this graph. And this graph was saying that in 2020, half the accessories, not the phones, half the accessories will be dual mode, classic to be, of course, backwards compatible, and LE Audio. So, for example, half the headsets will be LE Audio, and this is not true today. If you go to the headsets, most of them are still classic. But what we have found is, specifically for the headset market or accessories market, so not the mobile phones. We'll talk about the mobile phones later. If today you want to design an accessory and you go buy a chip, you buy one of the Bluetooth chips. For example, Qualcomm has more than 50% market share of the Bluetooth market. If you take the roadmap of these chip providers, you cannot find a chip that only does classic. Which means that if you're designing today headset or a wireless speaker, you will have for free LE Audio, which means that we believe that most of the devices coming out to the market in 2026 will be dual mode. So at least 50% of them will be dual mode. So we think that graph, it was only 5 years late. And we think that now, because of the availability of chips, most of the accessories will be dual mode, LE Audio and classic. Now on the phone side, what we notice is, and that was big since 2023, Android vanilla release. So if you take a phone and you take the standard Android, you will have LE Audio there. Android represents more than 70% worldwide market share of phones. Android 13 Plus supports LE Audio. All the Google Pixel 7 Plus will support already today LE Audio. Samsung is probably the most aggressive with their UI, and they support LE Audio. OnePlus, Xiaomi, which are quite popular in China, support LE Audio. So on the Auracast side, we think that most of the phone will be supporting it. Their implementation of the user interface will vary. Some will make it more visible, some less. Here is an example. I think this is the Samsung, where you go to the Bluetooth, to the standard Bluetooth menu, you go on the top, you say broadcast sound using Auracast, and then you'll be broadcasting. So it's only 2 clicks and you do it. Anybody who has a Samsung S23 can do that today, and it works quite well. The big question everybody asks, what does Apple do? Because everybody's looking for what Apple does. Well, the answer is nobody knows what Apple's gonna, except Apple knows what Apple's gonna announce. Our answer is iPhone has not announced anything supporting LE Audio, so not yet. But if you look at the iPhone, and the iPhone has to have a Bluetooth certification because that's legal, they do support LE Audio. So the phones already today, the phones that you buy, and since 2 years ago, they are 5.3. And to be 5.3, you have to support LE Audio. So the chip's already supported. They didn't make it available on the UI, but the chip already supported. And also, iPhone has been working very closely to people who do hearing aids to have, and they have a specific technology to make their phones connect with hearing aids, which is called HAC, and that's the MFI program when Apple tries to do something proprietary. It was the same when they were connecting their apps to configure, and you had to pay their coprocessor, and now it's the same thing. But if you look at it, a lot of the hearing aids, big ones, Oticon, Starkey, have LE Audio in their hearing aids. So if all the hearing aids are moving towards the standard, Apple will likely move because they'll want to provide for this category of people with hearing aids. So we believe that they are going to announce. How and when is a bit more difficult to say, but we believe that iPhone will likely announce that they're doing LE Audio. So in conclusion, the Android phones already support LE Audio. Most headsets and speakers and accessories in general in 2026 will be dual mode, and the iPhone is likely to announce support for LE Audio. So if you're building an accessory in 2025 plus, of course you have to be backwards compatible, so you have to be classic because you have to do what your old products used to do, but you also have to be future-proof, because imagine iPhone announces in 6 months that they're doing LE Audio. If iPhone announces it, then it's going to be everybody, because it's going to be crazy. Even if they don't announce, a lot of people are doing it now anyway. So you have to be backwards compatible, but you have to be also future-proof to make sure you can benefit for all the benefits of LE Audio we were talking about, and all the use cases that might come, and the improvement in power consumption, audio quality, and all that. So this leads me to the IDC777, which is our module. And of course, it allows you to be backwards compatible and future-proof. The IDC777, I will not go through all the details of the technical specs of the IDC7777, but I wanted to say that the IDC77 has Bluetooth receive and transmit classic, so it allows you to do whatever you're doing before, but also it has all the features of the LE Audio. It's the only module that combines these two. And in LE Audio, it does Auracast receive and transmit at all the different frequency rates. And it does the same thing with Unicast, which is part of LE Audio. It's fully certified, and it's easy to use with the very simple commands. So this is how the module looks like. You have a module with an antenna if you don't need very long range, 20 meters, for example, and you don't have metal around your product. If you have a lot of metal around your product and you want longer range, you can use the one with external antenna. The way it works is you've got a development board where you control the module over UART, and therefore the UART of the module is connected to FTDI, and it enumerates on your laptop as a virtual COM port, and then you can control it and very quickly do your use cases using this development board. This is just to say that you can do a proof of concept in a few days and then go to production very quickly with the IDC777. Yeah, that's how the module works. The really interesting thing about the IDC777 is you do not have any software to compile. You do not have any difficult API. You do not need any specific Bluetooth knowledge to work it. It's 2, 3, 4 very simple commands that you send to the module, and the module will open a connection with a headset or with a phone, or so we're talking about 2, 3, 4 commands depending on your scenarios, and you can do complex scenarios with LE Audio. So it allows you to learn also at the same time LE Audio, but also if you're developing a product, you don't need a lot of knowledge. You don't need to install a lot of software on your laptop. It's a very simple command, word command, and that's very beneficial, specifically when you have a new technology like LE Audio coming out. So here, as we explained the way it works, you've got the development board, you put the USB, and then you send the commands from a serial terminal like POTI or Hercules, and then you've got the audio in and out where you can connect a headset or a speaker to make sure that everything's working on your side. So in summary, the IDC777 is obviously cost effective. It's very cost competitive. It's got all the certifications, so you don't have to do certifications if you're going to production. It's got all the new features. It's used by a lot of customers, so all the bugs, interoperability have been fixed. You're saving a lot of hours of engineering. It's easy to evaluate and implement because you've got the simple UART interface. It's certified, very quick to go to market, and it's future-proof because it's got all the LE Audio, and it's supported by us who have been doing this for a number of years. So this is the presentation. I hope it gave you a bit of an idea. I know it's very quick because it's a big topic, but hopefully it gave you a bit of an idea of how LE Audio works. And now I'd like to open it to questions and answers. And please don't be scared. We're very happy to have a few questions, and hopefully it'll trigger a bit of a discussion.
Thanks a lot, Rafik. So far, quite interesting. I have a question concerning the Auracast and the streaming. Can I see if I stream, for example, from my phone, if I stream it, can I see how many receiver get the signal? Or its connectionless? Well, I am not sure if this is possible.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. We get this question quite a lot. It is like digital radio, so you don't know who connects or how many people connect. So you would be broadcasting. Another question we have sometimes from people, so where's the protection? Because if you're broadcasting, anybody can hear the audio. And there is 2 modes of private and public in the Auracast, where you can make a stream public, so anybody can connect and you don't know how many people connect, or you can make it private where there's a PIN code. And if there's a PIN code, then it's encrypted and the person needs to know the PIN code, so you share the PIN code with the number of people who you give access to that Auracast. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, and another one is also the dual mode. If I use the Bluetooth Classic and also the previous audio transmission, let's say headset profile, can I mix it with the new features?
Yeah. So that's a good question, because some people will use both. So what the IDC777 allows you to do is you can connect to Auracast and listen to the Auracast, and at the same time you can have, like, for example, your phone connected with Classic, like let's say an Apple phone connected with Classic to your headset. What we do with the IDC777, if you start streaming from your phone or receive a phone call, it will take priority. So the IDC will give you the audio coming from the Classic. Once you stop the Classic, it goes back to listen to the background Auracast channel that you're listening to, and you can stop it or start it, but you switch, and it can have these 2 connections at the same time on the phone and on the Auracast side.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We have another question in the Q&A. If the IDC777 apparently has a battery charger, so it can also indicate the battery status in application without host controller?
Yeah, so today the IDC777 most of the time is run with the host controller because it allows customers to modify the UI with the LEDs or the PIOs and it does not have to be a very strong host processor. You can get STM32 or NXP to work with it. The IDC777 has commands, and there is a command called battery status, and you can ask the IDC77. It will give you the battery status, and it has an internal charger, of course, and it'll tell you whether it's charging, not charging, and depending on the voltage, what's the battery usage. So as you know, for every battery, the voltage will give you where it is in its capacity. It'll drop down regularly, and it has an integrated table where it will give you the battery status. And you can configure things like when you stop charging, and for example, at 4.7 volts, you want to stop charging, and when you start trickle charging. So you've got a configuration and you've got battery commands, yes.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Another question, how many channels can be transmitted? I guess this is concerning the Auracast channels.
Yeah, so in theory, the Bluetooth SIG allows you to transfer as many as you want, but obviously that's the theory. And in practice, most of the module will transfer only a stereo. The IDC777 allows you at the same time to transfer up to 4 audio streams. So for example, on that slide where I showed German, Italian, French, English, that can be done with one module, transferring 4 mono signals at the same, Auracastings, 4 mono signals under 4 different names. Or it can do 2 stereo also, of course. Some people in audio can use it for backwards, frontwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, I think, well, also a good hint would be maybe your download area about some of application notes, how to do for some applications or for some setups of the IDC777. So, yeah. Okay, let's have a look if we have another question.
Yeah, we have videos on the website on how to do these 4 different streams. If people get dev boards, we can help, of course, help you set up so you get all the streams together or test different variables. I didn't mention the technical words, which is basis, because that then is a much longer conversation. But if you hear us talk about this, that's the broadcast channel, and it's a group, it's audio, it's one audio stream.
Okay. I will also publish here my email address. So if you have further questions, of course, you can always send it afterwards. Another question is, what about the latency? It is always the same, and how much it is?
Yes, no, that's a very good question. The Bluetooth, the Bluetooth SIG, that's the one thing that's new compared to classic, and I didn't expand too much on it. Not only the LC3 is a smaller codec, but when you establish an audio link, whether it's for Auracast or one-to-one, you can tell the broadcaster if you want high reliability, low latency, and you can specify exactly what you want in terms of frequency. Do you want 16 kilobits mono or 16 kilobits stereo or 24 or 32 or 44.1 or 48? So you can actually specify this. The IDC777 module is the only one that does all of those. And depending on which channel you choose, and they're all pre-specified by the Bluetooth SIG, you will get a different latency. So the way it works is there's something that's called presentation delay, and that's how they synchronize the receivers. They will tell you once you receive the signal, you have 20, 40, 60, 80 milliseconds to play the music. on our UART command manual, we have if we have a document where we've analyzed and we measured the initial latencies. Typically, for a standard Bluetooth LE audio channel, you're going to run between 50-80 milliseconds delay. I mean, this is just to give you a bit of an idea and a feel for it. If you're streaming classic SBC, for example, you're running 200-250 milliseconds, where you start seeing the lip sync. When you're around 50-80 milliseconds in a room, if somebody is talking, by the time the sound in the audio in the air arrives to you, and if you're at the back of the room, there's no problem at all. Sometimes you'll probably hear it before the real sound arrives. And for specific applications, we have our low latency mode, which is 20 milliseconds. It's called the gaming mode, where we can do stereo, and analog to analog is 20 milliseconds. That requires a specific codec that's coming from Qualcomm. But on the module, we have it, and you can get down to 20 milliseconds. But if you just use LE audio normal, it's going to be 50, 60, 70, 80, roughly around that number.
Okay, so that's, yeah. So it's almost lip synchronized, and there's no special codec necessary anymore as it was in the previous audio.
Yes, yes,
the
yes.
aptX low latency where you need it. Yeah, okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, and that's the example of a speaker talking, and then you're having the headset, and then you're listening to it, and then you're fine. And that's one of the reasons they did it.
Yeah. Thanks to all of you for your time and registration, and we will send you the email with all these things, and then keep in contact. We have samples on stock, we have dev kits on stock, so you can start a project at any time.
Thanks a lot, Ralph. Thanks, guys, for joining. Any questions, feel free to ask all of us. And thank you for joining here. And if you liked it, just share it with your friends. And hopefully we'll get people working with LE Audio soon with our modules. Thanks, Ralph.
Cool. Thank you. And bye-bye. Ciao.